right, so before we get started with making a hypothesis, we have to know something about popcorn, right?
Is that step 2 of our scientific method?
Yes, that is. Step 2 in the scientific method is research. You can't just go and make a hypothesis if you don't know anything about what you're trying to research or what you're trying to test. So we can do some research just by looking at the boxes and reading the ingredients and maybe where they're from. But you can also do more in-depth research that you can put all kinds of different topics in, like where does popcorn come from? How did popcorn begin? What does popcorn actually do when it pops? So these are some important things we need to know about popcorn before we actually test to see why the kernels pop and why they wouldn't pop. There's all kinds of information out there about popcorn. There's all kinds of interesting myths about popcorn popping out in the fields by itself.
Yes, or people think that they can pop popcorn with their cell phones. That's a myth.
Yeah. So there's some really neat, fun things that you can read about. But you also have to check your sources when you're doing your research. Are they legit? Are they really resources that you would want to cite in your background information?
What are some good sites what should they end in? Some good sites.
Yeah. Well, they should end in things like .org, .edu for education sites. .org is, of course, organizations. .gov is from our government. So there's some sites like that. Sometimes .com, that's kind of iffy for some of our research because anybody can put anything they want out there, and they can stray you off to some incorrect information. But it is important to cite your sources and to do research to find out what do we know about popcorn, and it's pretty interesting. So we did have a little bit of research already done. Do you guys want to tell us about what we already found out?
All right, and this is also on your slideshow under step 2, so we're going to kind of read it out loud. You can follow along. Popcorn is a type of maize which, unlike other types of corn, pops when heated in oil or dry. It was first found and popped by Native Americans thousands of years ago. The kind of popcorn most people pop in their microwaves is the special's Zea maize. Popcorn was introduced to the West by Christopher Columbus in the late 15th century. As with other corns, popcorn has a certain amount of moisture inside itself. However, unlike other corns, popcorn has a stronger outer hull that doesn't let moisture escape as fast as other corn when heated.
That's interesting.
I know.
Here's some more interesting facts you can follow along also from your slides. As the kernel is heated to the boiling point, water inside the kernel starts to turn into steam, causing pressure inside the kernel to rise to about 9 times the pressure of air. Inside other types of corn, as well as damaged popcorn kernels, the steam escapes the kernel as fast as it's formed. The difference with popcorn is that the outer hull is strong enough to hold the steam in until it ruptures in a small explosion, turns it inside out, become the white fluffy stuff known as popcorn.
That's really cool. I'm so glad we did this research. So now we'll have some understanding of why the kernels actually are going to pop when we do our test. But after we have this, we need to go to step 3.
All right, we'll be back with that.